Hello, fiber folk. Have you ever wondered where the term humbug comes from? Today I'm spinning this beautiful humbug blend of blue-faced Leicester wool, and I thought it'd be the perfect time to dive into the history of this word. Of course, the word humbug is associated mainly with Scrooge in the classic short story A Christmas Carol. But the word humbug first popped up in English back in the 18th century, often used to describe a person or object that is a fraud or a hoax. It was basically a way to say, this is nonsense. So, no, Scrooge didn't invent it, but he sure made it more famous. But here's the twist. Humbug isn't just an exclamation or a blend of fibers, it's also a classic candy. Humbug candies are small, hard sweets with bold stripes on the outside and a minty or toffee flavor. The stripe pattern was designed to catch the eye, making it a festive treat with a name that is much more fun than its definition. In the fiber world, a humbug blend mimics that same striped look. The different colored fibers are carded together in sections, creating a marled effect that echoes the candy's stripes. Just like a humbug sweet has layers of flavor, a humbug yarn has layers of color, and they both have a way of surprising you. So while humbug may have started out as a way to call out deception in both sweets and spinning, it is more about playful patterns and delightful surprises. I'd say that's a pretty sweet history. Hello, fiber folk. It's me, Trent, the Weft Wright, here in the unfortunately soggy western North Carolina mountains. I'm sure a lot of you have heard the news that the tropical storm Helene came through our area and caused a lot of flooding and damage. It was very scary. Thankfully, I live in a pretty safe location, though I was trapped in my house because the bottom of my street was close to a creek, which overflowed and flooded. So I wasn't able to get out for a day. We only lost electricity for about 6 or 7 hours. So we're a lot luckier than some people who are still without. We have just gotten cell service back. A lot of people still don't have cellular service. and we are still without internet. So I don't know exactly when you're going to see this video. As soon as I get the internet back up and running, I can post this video. But yeah, it's been scary. My school has canceled classes for the entire week, which it seems like that even may need to be extended. There's still lots of people that were affected by the storm and can't get out. One of my issues is because there's no internet, a lot of places aren't taking debit card or credit card. And so I can't buy gas. All the gas stations are only taking cash right now. And all I had is money in the bank when this happened. So that was an important lesson learned. The only thing that I would say really made me anxious was that loss of cellular service. And it's not just because I want to scroll on Instagram and see all of your wonderful projects, but it's because I couldn't contact my family. And I didn't, in fact, hear from my brother. Today is Monday. The storm hit Thursday, and I haven't heard from my brother till today. And my brother lives on the side of a mountain in a very remote area, right by a waterfall and a pretty major rushing river. And his house, while intact, is completely inaccessible. The roads are all washed out. They had to have a rescue mission of several people come and pull him and his family out. But he's safe now, thankfully. And my parents are safe. They're still without power, but they have a generator and have access to clean water. So they're in pretty good place as well. So what do I do with my time? I obviously do some planning and restructuring of my curriculum for my students, but I don't have the power to watch TV, which has been both a curse and a blessing, because what I really should be doing is packing up my house because we're still moving in just about 2 weeks. What I have actually been doing is crafting a little bit. I just needed to de-stress, and I've had this fiber for a long time. This is Blueface Leicester, which is a great, it's actually fairly fine and soft for a long wool, but it's still a long wool, so it has that luster to it. And this is a comb top, which I bought at Paradise Fiber, and it's actually in a Humbug blend. And I thought I might talk a little today about what a Humbug blend is. So if you've ever seen that term when it refers to yarn, it's specifically referring back to a type of Victorian or slightly pre-Victorian candy. And it's a candy that has irregular stripes pulled through it. And that's what this top looks like. It has random stripes, in this case of brown and white, going through it. I'm sure that's done on the machine by having both white sliver and brown sliver and then fed in and mixed in together into the process of reducing the top down. And what it does is it produces a marled yarn. In a lot of ways, it looks similar to what the Cajuns do when they spin doublé, where they spin with 2 colors of cotton at the same time. They put them right beside each other in the fiber supply and then draft out, and those 2 colors kind of barber pole. And something similar is happening with the Blueface Leicester Humbug blend, but it is not entirely even, which gives it a really nice oatmeal-y kind of rustic texture, which I think is going to be really nice because this is my goal, is to spin this 1 pound of wool and hopefully make a sweater for myself. Now, I'm a really big guy, and it may end up being a sweater vest because I'm trying not to buy any more fiber this year. But I've never knit a sweater for myself, and I've never certainly spun enough to knit a sweater for myself. So I'm really excited about this project. As I said, I have a pound of wool. You saw me separating it earlier in the video, and I have had a little trouble getting used to it. I've been spinning, as some videos you've seen recently, some merino top. It's actually superwash merino top, and I kind of had to have a death grip on it because it was so slippery, and the fiber length, the staple length was kind of short. But in this Blueface Leicester, the staple length is about 5 to 6 inches, so I've had to really loosen up my draft to get this consistent. And it's still not perfect. I'm not a perfect spinner. I haven't spun enough. I think you have to spend probably a good solid year of spinning every day to really get fine, consistent yarns. But it's going to be fine enough for what I think I'm going to do. My plyback tests look really good. I am not a hand knitter, I'm a machine knitter and a weaver. And so whenever I spin yarn, I tend to spin it with a lot of twist and a lot of ply twist. That's because both in knitting, machine knitting, and in weaving, you have the yarn under mechanical tension as opposed to hand tensioning like you would when you're hand knitting. So the yarn has to be a little bit sturdier. It still fluffs up and blooms, which is the fun part about weaving with real wool yarns, but it does need that little bit of extra strength and smoothness. So whenever I'm weaving, I tend to spin worsted, and I the same when I'm doing machine knitting. I tend to spin worsted and with a lot of twist. And when I come to plying, there's going to be a lot of plying as well. That's an update from me. If you're interested in this blend, it's at Paradise Fibers. I don't have an affiliate link. I'm not important enough for that. But it's a really lovely soft wool that has a beautiful luster to it. It's not as fine as merino, but they say the fineness count is between 23 and 26, roughly, microns. So definitely not rug wool. It's definitely good for a sweater or a hat. I don't know necessarily that I'd use it as a scarf. It might be a little itchy around the neck. But no, this is a really beautiful fiber to work with, and I love the way it's spinning up. So I'm just going to leave a little extra footage of me spinning, and I'll catch up with you next week. Until then, keep safe, keep in contact with your family, and keep crafting.